week with my best friends. Some people say we have a problem, but every night I'm making new best friends, and the only problem is we like having a good time.
Hello. Thursday night, 8 p.m. And you know what that means.
What does it mean? I never know what it means.
It is the 70th. Today's the
70th.
Pluggo.
You have not been fired yet.
Unbelievable. How the hell did we make it this far?
Because
The
we're
70th
that damn
episode
good.
of Between Two Beards. Thank you all for tuning in and being here. We appreciate it. We got the hard hour tonight because at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have a Champions edition of Quizplex happening right here on Love Wrestling. And we have some breaking news.
Slight
regarding
change. Card
that.
Subject to change. And
I will let Pluggo lead, but yes.
You hear that in this business, card subject to change. Well, former champion Aaron Stevens had some things come up. He got tied up. He couldn't make it tonight, but that doesn't mean that we didn't find a suitable replacement. And in my book, this replacement
we certainly did.
Is, for my money, one of the best in the business. The one, the only Kyle Davis will be joining the fray with Sal Ronaldo and Marco Mayer as a championships edition of Quizplex with our friend Smarkmouth, aka Zach, aka Zark, aka Zarkaloo, right at 9 o'clock. So hang out with us, have some fun, and then stick around for those fine gentlemen in the best quiz-related show in the game. Hi, Tim. What is good, buddy?
What is good, Tim?
Doing, Tim?
Tim, the Colts. I mean, I'm not too thrilled about my Patriots either, but I feel better about them than I do your Colts getting shut out by the Jaguars, huh?
Sure.
Good Lord, but on to business.
Anyway, we've got a big one. It was Grand Slam last night, so we have to knock it out of the park, given what we just told you about Quizplex. So we've got an old friend.
Oh, yeah.
Joining us right now, the man, the myth, the legend, the franchise, costs more than Warren Hayes. Matt, what's up, buddy?
He's here.
I'm here. I got told that, don't go to work on this glorious Friday here in Australia. So
Tim said brutal.
Why not be here?
Yeah. And then we're happy to have you. It's been, yeah. You fit in the bill. You fit in the bill here. It's been a little bit.
And it's taken 70 episodes to get me here. Like,
I know.
How?
Yeah.
I know.
You're expensive.
Well, yeah.
Spencer has been a tightwad with the budget lately. So
yeah. You can't spell expensive without Spence. So
yeah, it is true.
It is what it is.
It is true. Blasted Duck, we will get there. It was amazing.
Tim said one, he wishes he would build with a rookie or a younger QB. Two, wish he had more wideouts. Blasted Duck, yes, we are going to be talking about Soraya coming back last night. Friggin' amazing. And yeah, had to save it for Quizplex. He did. But you know what? Tonight is Thursday night, Quizplex night. He usually is pretty lax with the budget. That's why the franchise is here. We got Big Money Drew joining us here shortly. So yeah, where do you boys want to start tonight? I am all if you're in the comments, let us know how you felt about anything in the week of wrestling, anything that was just not wrestling related anyway. Just drop it in the comments.
Yeah, we talk about it. We talk about whatever here.
But there was some big shit that happened last night.
There was. And we're gonna dive into that in just a few. But I think first we'll get it out of the way, and then we can stop talking about this issue for a while, hopefully. Because we've talked about it a lot over the last since All Out.
Not at all.
Not at all.
But a report came out that CM Punk is reportedly going to be done with AEW, and that reports are there will be a buyout of some sort. So just a little over a year ago, he had this triumphant return. It was one of the best moments, in my opinion, in professional wrestling ever. Definitely within the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
And now he's gone. Yeah. And now he's gone.
Yeah,
so
Blasted Duck, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where looking back on it, like, how are we gonna look at this? Like, because I personally, like, I love CM Punk. Not like as a performer, he's an all-timer. I love him, but I'm irritated with him as a wrestling fan. Like, I'm disappointed and like angry at him at the way that shit went down. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. What the hell, bro? Like, that's my opinion of it. Like, what the hell, bro?
Yeah.
And it's disappointing. It's disappointing.
Very
We'll never forget that moment when he came back. That's an all-time moment that'll be shown in forever.
Yeah.
Forever. I was a part, me, Spencer, and Joel Pearl, 3 grown-ass men at 7:00 at night in Las Vegas. We were in Las Vegas, and we were like, we got to stay in this hotel room and find a way to get the feed on a computer so we can watch. See, like, we were like, we're not going out on a Friday night in Las Vegas. We're going to sit in this hotel room and watch CM Punk come back. And it was wonderful. And now a year or so later, and it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
You know? It's a bummer.
I cried.
It's a bummer.
I got misty-eyed.
Yeah, it was emotional when he came back because it was something I think we all never thought we would actually really see.
No,
and it
happened.
Time
there was a rumor for the last 7 years of who was coming back. CM Punk was at the top of the list, and every time I got all sorts of like giddy and excited and thought maybe this is the time, maybe this is the time, and then it was never the time. Then it was finally the time, and we got so excited. And a year later, here we are, and I have gone from like a big CM Punk supporter to like, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want him. Like, and here's the craziest part about all of this. Like, they have been consistently better since all that shit went down at the media scrum. The programming has been more consistent. The numbers have stayed the same. Yeah, if you're a wrestling company and you have the opportunity to sign CM Punk, you take it, but they don't need it. They're good. They'll be fine without him. And I think he knows that, and they know it. So buy him out, let him go. If he wants to go to the WWE, he wants to wrestle again, like, so be it, by all means. Like, he's a hell of a performer, but it's AEW will be just fine. They'll be just fine.
They were fine before him. They were fine now. They will continue to be fine.
You gotta try. Like, if you just had to sign him, you didn't need him at the time. You got him. He's back now. He's like, he was happy-go-lucky. Then he started. It just bye. I mean, I hate to be that guy. It breaks my heart, but bye.
It does me too, yeah. Like, I'm a fan. I've forever been a Punk fan. His 434-day reign in WWE is one of the greatest reigns that I've ever seen. But no talent is above any promotion, period.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. And I don't care if you're amazing in ring. If you're a POS of a human being outside of the ring, you have no business going into business for yourself. So if they're going to buy his contract out and we never see him in AEW programming again, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. And
but how do you bring him back anyway? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah. And
I don't think you can.
You can't. And apparently, everyone's saying the morale backstage has been better since he's not been like, sometimes the signs are right in front of you. Sometimes the signs are right in front of you. And I think addition by subtraction sometimes is the thing that like actually matters. And it's like, it might suck to lose the draw that is CM Punk and the name that is CM Punk, but everyone else here, or the majority of everyone else here, is going to be in a better headspace or better spot or just feel better about things without this person here. And then it's like this in all workplaces. You have people, it is what it is. Sometimes people just don't mesh. Sometimes people end up just being not great people.
Was this
I'm more looking forward to someone like
Alex?
No, this was a late birthday show to Nick Gage. It's Nick Gage's birthday today.
Oh, Alex's birthday was this past weekend. So
it was, Alex. What did happen?
I'm more looking forward to seeing Adam Cole get healthy and come back rather than CM Punk.
Yeah.
Right? And they just did their biggest episodic programming that they do each year.
Yeah.
And they did it without Kenny Omega, without the Bucks, without Adam Cole. Samoa Joe didn't wrestle on their main show.
Yeah.
Miro wasn't there.
Miro wasn't there. Andrade wasn't there. There were so many people that weren't booked on this show. And it was a good damn show.
It was.
So they are going to be just fine without Punk. They have, they've shown that they will build up and, look at the Hangman Page story from nothingness to champion. It was phenomenal. They'll
layered. It was multi-years. It was like over.
They don't need Punk to pay off something like that.
It's too bad that Adam Page is so empty-headed. Like what? No, but that's where I'm at with it. Like I love that man. I love CM Punk, but I'm still like, You can't. I don't care who you are. You cannot act like that in a public setting about the company you work for. And there would be so much damage control that he would have to do to even be able to entertain the idea of bringing him back into that locker room setting, because it is just the toxicity. Because I know that this is like apples, to oranges comparison, but a person like, on the lower end, we'll say like a Peter Avalon acted like that, right? He'd be gone in a second. Wouldn't even think about it. But so that's where you draw that line where like people start speaking up like Punk did, and you don't shut him down. Like, buy him out, let him sit at home, pay his full contract. You've got the money, just eat it. You had a good run. It was nice to see. We had some awesome moments. We sang Kumbaya. We put some young people over. It didn't work out. We move on. But again, he's that type of talent that you have to try it. And everybody that's in, like, I wouldn't have signed him. I wouldn't have signed the WWE. They'd sign him tomorrow if he wanted to be there, because
100%.
It'll bring eyes to the product. But they have so much good, and the way that the story, like, the last 3, it's been 3 weeks, right, since All Out. Although these 3 episodes have been some of my favorite episodes of Dynamite, and it has nothing to do because it's just good wrestling. It's good, consistent storytelling outside of a few. We got Josh Robinson in I blow past Josh Robinson.
Yeah, Josh, good to see you. Good to see you.
One half of the Power Hour that you guys dropped on Wednesday on me. I was all
we dropped it early. It was a heavy one this week. It was a heavy topic this week.
Did you do the Australian?
No, we're doing that. That'll be next week. Yeah, we had to delay it. Some not so great stuff.
That's why I have the day off, because we have the grand final tomorrow.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Here in Melbourne, they give us a whole public holiday for a footy game. That's tomorrow.
See, I've been saying this for years. The day after the Super Bowl should be nobody works.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I'm in Melbourne, or Victoria, New South Wales, which is the state just above me.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're known for their rugby league.
Yeah.
So they have the day off the day after their grand final. So you can get fucked up and not have to go to work the next day.
And to Smart Mouth's point, the host of Quizplex will be on right at 9:00. Yes, I think that is a very big addition by subtraction. I think TK looked at that night and went, I've got to focus this team up. I've got to rein this in, or it's going to be all my money out the door. And he's like, I need to get back to what works, the basics. It's all this basic stuff. It's nothing over the top. It's nothing outlandish. It's just, you know what? We're going to put on good wrestling. We're going to have people coming in. We're going to make sure, we're going to rally around the Chris Jericho, who's been an MVP. I know people have been shitting on him because his gimmicks are goofy. He's been an MVP. He's been the pros pro. Moxley's putting the team on his back. Danielson's putting the team on. These are the guys you want to rally around.
Yeah.
These 3, in my opinion, those are your EVPs if you had to do it. Like, no offense, no disrespect to the Bucks and Omega or anything, but like these 3 seem to be like, we're team players. Like Danielson's out there taking another championship loss. Mox is leaving his vacation. Jericho, who is above it all, is going to medium scrums without any notice, putting the team on his back. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right. Before we dive in to Grand Slam and talk about everything there, we got Drew in the back. Before we bring him in, we got another big announcement about something happening here at Love Wrestling.
Yes.
So let's show this. It's our good friend, Wordsmith. We'll play the video, and then we'll bring Drew on, and we're going to dive into Grand Slam. So Alex, cue it up. Let's go.
Salutations, one and all. For those of you that are new, the Wordsmith here, telling you, in case you don't know, Poetry of a Promo will be returning this October. It's very soon, from what I understand how dates work. And the only thing that's for sure, to borrow a phrase from my close personal friend, Stephen Borden, is that nothing's for sure about Poetry of a Promo. So, tune in, or whatever. See you in October.
Big news there.
Hell yeah.
Good
He
stuff.
does have
Good
a sword.
stuff.
How does he get
have
a sword and I can't have some fireworks?
Yeah, I know.
Explain that, Spencer. It
Unbelievable. But the wordsmith is returning here on Love Wrestling
Is Josh
with poetry of
asking
a promo.
Does Josh?
I think
have a
Josh
question?
wanted to ask a question,
Or
but
is he
before
just
that,
making fun of Spencer.
he maybe. You know what else is big? Big Money Drew. Let's bring him on. He was at Grand Slam last night in attendance.
And he's
let's
your
bring
newest
him
member
on.
of Love Wrestling.
There he is.
Baby.
He is wearing the Scissor Me Daddy shirt of the Acclaimed, which I love.
Oh God, I don't know how to follow that. That was really that was
amazing, right? The wordsmith. That was amazing.
He's
exciting news. All right. Well, we were just about to dive in. Before we dive into individual things and what was like, just tell us overall what the atmosphere of that night was. It seemed like the crowd was into it.
Blasted Duck. He should be on every LPW.
He should be on every LPW. I don't know if he will be. We have to ask the boss for that. That's but the boss, he should be.
But yes.
This show is known to blow a budget every now and then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
So
all of the budget.
As somebody who was in attendance, what was the atmosphere like? It's been 2 years now. I think the set. I just think that whole arena looks so cool.
Oh yeah.
And I can say this now. Next year, I'm going. I don't care. I'm going because I wanted to go last year. I wanted to go this year. You were there. Let us know how it was, what the atmosphere was like.
And I was there last year as well.
Okay, so you've been to both then. So.
Yes, last year was the first wrestling TV show that I had ever gone to.
Very good.
I went to like Evolve and Progress, like non-TV shows.
Yeah.
But this was very special, and I got to say that this year was different, particularly for me, because as you can see behind me, I had a floor seat.
You were close, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Very close.
Yeah.
Is that the chair you get for that? Is
that
that's part of the deal? That's dope.
It's really cool.
Is that hard to lug around though? Like, do you have to plan that out? Like,
it's not a gimmick chair, that's for sure. It's got some weight to it.
Yeah.
But I've been going to the gym, so I lifted it up. No problem.
You knew the day was coming. You were like, you know what? I know. I gotta do some stuff.
Yeah. So it was extra special this time around. And actually, I just realized I still have my FTR shirt that I just got up on the couch.
Beauty, FTR.
Yeah, I spent some money. I got this shirt there. I don't know. This isn't on the shop yet, right?
Was that the Love Wrestling signing bonus that you got there?
Well, we'll discuss that later.
Because I'd like to know. Because I don't think we got one.
I guess we could say I'm the MJF of Love Wrestling now.
Fair.
That's fair. That's fair.
And that has, but I can announce now, of course, it's already been announced on Twitter. I am officially joining Love Wrestling alongside that man right up there. We will be covering all things AEW very soon on Thursdays, maybe. If not next Thursday, definitely the Thursday after.
Yeah, it'll be soon. It'll be relatively soon. Yeah, in the next couple weeks.
And I'm very excited for that.
Yeah,
very excited.
It should be very, very good. I'm looking forward to it as well. All right, let's dive in. We're not going to do a from top to bottom type thing, but I figure we'll just start with the big moments and kind of work our way through. So
you mean the opening credits?
I know, literally.
This show, in my opinion, was insane. I missed the first half of it last night, so I caught up.
People say
it was a crazy show from the jump.
People, do the classic Tony on drugs type of a deal all the time. Yeah. But I got to tell you, he knows how to hype up a crowd.
Oh, yes. I've been to Dynamite 2 or 3 times, and in those commercial breaks, he comes out of that tunnel and he will literally talk to the crowd for a minute and he gets you jacked the F up. Like, he gets you ready. So when you come, every time you're watching on television and they come back from commercial and the crowd is loud and part of it is the match, but it's Tony. Tony is on the thing yelling this is coming up. It's incredible.
So I don't know if this will be on a YouTube thing, but the ramp for Rampage. Oh no, it was after the Rampage taping. He literally was just screaming so much into the microphone, his voice was going. He even, because this ended up being the highest rated, not rated, with the tickets.
Say what you will about that man, but he loves his fucking product, and that's what you want out of somebody. I mean, yeah, he should dial it in sometimes and pick his spots on when it needs to be more professional and stuff. And again, I think we talked before you got on, Drew. I think he's starting to piece all that kind of together with everything. Like he let the wheels kind of fall off a little bit, and he's
he got on his
sorry, Drew. I'm
language,
so excited,
bro. Language. All right,
Thursday night.
I'm being better. I'm
You notice how I said F
here.
up, Pluggo? I didn't
I'm
swear.
Sorry.
And
I'm
I am
so
the one
excited
that talks like a sailor around.
Sort it out, Pluggo.
He got on his knees and thanked the crowd at the end. Like literally was on his knees.
Yeah. It's incredible.
How can I hold back the heckin' language when we've got Kyle Davis showing up at 9:00 with Sal Renaro and Marco Mayer, the championship edition of Quizplex?
True.
It's
true. All right. So the big news, the big news, we had multiple title changes, which we'll get into in a little bit. But the big news was we saw Saraya, formerly known as Paige, make her debut. It was right after the Fatal 4-Way when Britt Baker and crew were beating up Athena and others, Tony Storm. The huge pop, gigantic pop. I was watching. I immediately, now it's going to take more than just one woman. Like the booking needs to be better and stuff like that. But I immediately was like, this could be a game changer type. Paige was the OG. She was the first to me in NXT. Like when they were starting to get over women's wrestling to the point where it was getting respected as much as men's wrestling. It was Emma and it was Paige. Like those were the two that were starting that. And when she first came up, and like, this is a big, big get for Saraya to get her. Matt, I'll let you lead. How'd you feel about the return? Clearly one of the biggest pops in AEW history. It was insane. Tell us what you were thinking, and then we'll carry it over to Drew, who was in the building, and get his perspective from someone who was there. So,
as someone who goes to a lot of like local live event stuff, like, and Drew will agree, going to a live event and hearing something live as to on television, totally different. But you could hear how much people were surprised and impressed that she was there.
Yeah.
Like she is huge, whether she does a little or a lot. The fact that she has chosen to go somewhere where she has the ability to end her own career on her terms, not some mid 70-year-old man's terms, that is fantastic. She looks great. The people wanted her to be in that arena at that time. And I'm as happy as a pig in SH1T. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I've blown the curse word.
It was a great moment. I think I was in disbelief at first because this was hidden for the most part. Like there was some small talk about, but like this was not, something that was reported beforehand or anything like that. Like this was a good secret. And this is just a big, big get. And Drew, you were there. What was it like being in that place when that happened?
If you thought that the title win of these wonderful gentlemen was loud, that was like, I'll say, another 3-4 notches, because that was so like Matt was saying, like, live event, when you go to a live event, you can kind of tell when something's about to happen because the cameras are facing the stage.
Yeah.
So when they're not facing the stage, there's nothing happening because nobody's about to come out. So you kind of know, you can feel the atmosphere. You can see with the camera crew. I do a really quick point I want to make before I forget, because I really did want to say this. Having a floor seat is so much more special in the sense that you're almost, in a way, part of the crew working on the show, because they're passing by. I was right at the end, so this was seat one of that whole row. So the crew's going back and forth. You almost get like a feeling like you're part of it in a sense, because when the stuff went off for their title win for the Acclaimed, that rolled right by me and was sitting there waiting for the 3 count.
That's where they were setting it up.
It's like, it's such a unique experience to be on the floor. So seeing the camera facing the stage while Britt Baker and them were beating on Tony, you're like, okay, something's going on. So that's when I hit record on my phone. So like, oh, I heard about the chatter, the same chatter you were talking about. And then that music plays, and I have no idea. So the one negative about being in the arena, and specifically for somebody like me who has a little bit of a hearing loss, you can't always hear what you hear on TV. So like the microphones, the music. So I didn't get the vibe of the music because it's just in the building and the speakers are not as great in my ears. So, but then her name pops up, and
that's when the crowd just went.
Yeah.
They just lifted out of this, like lifted like a rocket.
It was unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable, and nobody knew for sure that this was happening, because the other benefit of being at a live event is the people around you, and it just becomes this incredible atmosphere of picking up on what other fans are doing, reacting with their reaction. It was, for somebody who was very jealous for everyone that was at last year's All Out with all those debuts. I get to say I finally got one.
You got one.
Hell yeah.
You got one. Hell yeah, man.
I couldn't be happier, because I thought exactly what you said, JPJ. This is a breath of fresh air into this division. And this, I tweeted this morning, this needs to be the turning point of the women's division in AEW. It needs to be. They cannot be doing the same stuff that they've been doing. So I am so excited to see what happens here.
And I want to talk about it because Smarkmouth in the chat had a couple comments. So, in talking about our excitement with Saraya, he's like, I hope so, but this was he had the similar thoughts when Ruby debuted. So larger issues have, there's been, they always have these big debuts and these big moments. Like some of them, like this one, are different level, but like there's been a lot of big debuts that people were excited for, and then there's really not much that happens after. And he's, and then he had a critique. He said he didn't like how Britt and the heels were like, one person came to the ring and they all cowered out and were like, no, we're out of here, kind of stuff like that. So, but I do want to dive in before we move on and start talking about the other stuff that happened, because we have a half hour, and I do want to get to, you bet your ass I want to talk about sports entertainer, Ring of Honor world champion, Chris Jericho.
Yes, please.
I do. But what Drew said to end that, and I'll lead off to Pluggo, so you can speak on your opinions of it. Do we think this is the turning point for the women? Is this the one that's like, okay, Tony, this is a different type of bring in. This is a huge get. This is the biggest woman star that we could probably get right now. This is your last chance to prove to me as a fan of your show that you give a shit about women's wrestling, because it's been like this forever. The 9:30 8-minute match. No, there hasn't been progression in the care that they show, or at least show us as their viewers with women's wrestling. Do we think that Paige is the one where it's like, okay, it's go time now. We have to do the right thing and focus on women's wrestling more, Pluggo?
Yeah, I think you should. I mean, like, you should have been doing this from day one, honestly. Like, that's my opinion. We've been screaming from the rooftops about how bad it's been. But no, this is one of those moments that will forever be in the history of AEW. I mean, she's such a big personality, whether she's in the ring, managing, whatever she does, that she didn't have to say a word. Like, that's a star. So to Smarkmouth's point, in kayfabe, they had 4 heels just kind of chilling off to the side, like not moving because they were just in awe of her presence. So if you don't build off of this and you don't make this a big deal and feature her, whatever the deal may be, I don't know what it is, whether she's doing, I don't know. I hope she wrestles again. I would hope that this is a move to give her, you know, a run in the ring. So that, like Matt said, she can end her career on her terms, but whatever they do with her, I think she needs to be on television as much as possible because it is a big deal.
Yeah.
And you know, it looks like she's immediately going to go after Britt. I think that's and I think you should just go for it. Strike while the iron's hot. Britt's big enough now that she doesn't need to be in the title picture, but this could be your secondary women's feud outside of the title belt that we've all been clamoring for. I'm at the point where I don't care if you put it on Rampage, Dynamite, but there's no reason Dynamite can't have 2 women's matches or 2 women's storylines going at once, because Jade hasn't done a heckin' thing. I can't curse anymore, but she's not been doing anything. I mean, she had Trina of all people was talking up. I was like, what the hell is that? But yeah. To cap off the Saraya talk, I'm stoked she's back. She's one of my favorites. Like, from that, you know, that Divas era that came in, and she was different, and it was just
her and AJ, man. Her and AJ Lee were like they were that feud and just everything. They were everything.
That feud was awesome, and she had that unfortunate neck injury, and then they didn't know what to really do with her, and then they kind of just, I don't know if I think she just, I don't know if they released her or did she just leave because it was like she's not re-signing.
I think they just didn't re-sign her.
Yeah, because I don't think they
maybe they might have.
They wanted to put her in the ring, obviously, with everything going on. But if AEW is going to give her a shot, I'm all for it. Let's go.
Oh my god, yeah, and especially if it's in the wrestle, if she can wrestle. Oh my god, like that's what. Yeah, like give me a run of paid Saraya, wrestling. That's what I want. All right. Speaking of wrestling, last night we saw 2 title changes and a third crowning of a champion. So let's dive into kind of these one by one. Started off the show hot. I thought it was a really good match too. Chris Jericho and Claudio. Oh man, I'm gonna let you go first now. I'm gonna let you go first with that reaction. But Claudio and Jericho in the Ring of Honor. For the Ring of Honor World Championship with Chris Jericho, sports entertainment legend Chris Jericho beating beating Claudio and becoming the new Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. Matt, the franchise, lead it off. What do you think of Chris Jericho, a Ring of Honor champion, and what did you think of the match that started off the show?
The match was... But Y2 Ocho is chef's kiss.
Yeah.
The fact that they went with this is amazing to me. Like, I see wrestling through a different perspective these days. I see it through sort of more like a business perspective rather than sort of what, you know, the fans would want. The fans obviously wanted Claudio to retain because it's Claudio.
Yeah.
But from a business perspective, if you're trying to get Ring of Honor, any sort of TV deal, Jericho has to be your choice out of these 2.
Yeah.
Jericho and any company that's had any sort of success that I can remember, whether it's early WWF with Triple H as a heel champion, WCW with heel champions, Jericho is the first AEW champion as a heel. Companies work better with a heel champion, and there is none better than Chris Jericho to do that. So for me, this was a business decision. Was it right? Time will tell. But for me, this was perfect.
Yeah, and I immediately, when he won, I was kind of like, wow. I was like, I had the reaction where I almost kind of like laughed. Not like because I thought it was fun, but I'm just like,
yeah.
All right, cool. I was like, all right, yeah, I'm in on it. And then I immediately was like, oh, do we think they're closing in on a TV deal or something like that? Because Jericho is one of those guys that a cable company will say, hey, I know that name. I know who that is. He's your champion.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me, give me the pitch. Yeah. Give me the pitch. And they might be like, he had to be AEW's first champion. He had to be.
Well, he was a big driver of why they exist. People say the Bucks and Cody and blah, blah, blah. But Jericho had the experience of working for big organizations. He brought that knowledge to the table and enabled Tony was smart enough to listen to him, and they built from there.
Yeah.
Jericho as the Ring of Honor World Champion enables that to be able to then step up and step up and step up. And if that's what they're going to go with, then it had to be.
Yeah. And Drew, I'll slide it over to you. What did you think of this match to open up the show? And how do you feel about Ring of Honor World Champion Chris Jericho?
So I was under the impression, I thought that either the tag match or the title match, the AEW title match, were going to open the show. So when we saw, they announced that Ian Riccaboni was coming out, and then Bobby Cruz was coming out to announce, like, oh, so it seems like the ROH Championship is going to start. I have not watched the show back, so I don't know yet, but I don't know if the crowd being legitimately shocked that Chris Jericho won came through.
Oh, no, it came through. It came through.
Everyone was like, holy F. Just exploded when that happened. And I love Claudio. Claudio is one of my favorite people in the world. I'm so happy I finally got to see him live. But even though we found out Chris Jericho had been stepping up backstage and has been extremely helpful, as you said, with the media scrum and being really helpful for the business for Tony. I've still been a fan of Chris Jericho's.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sorry, I sing Judas when he comes out. I
would too. I do too. Yeah.
I sing it.
You're there. You gotta live the moment.
If the camera was on me, it would have been clear as day. But
if Stingray's allowed to sing it in Cobra Kai, Drew, you're allowed to sing it live at the event.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. So it was great, and I saw a lot of people. Like, I was getting my Twitter notifications.
Yeah.
Even though I couldn't be on Twitter for most of the night because the building's reception was terrible, but I'm seeing like some people that I know like not liking that. And I know, I'm a Fightful shill at the end of the day, and Alex Pulaski, I love that man so much.
Not a fan.
He did not like that at all.
He did not like that.
I think I just have bias because I incredibly enjoyed the match and the results, and was very happy to see that.
Yeah, it's again, Jericho. He reinvents himself so much that, like, I'm intrigued to see what small, slight change he's going to make in, like, his character or his presentation now that he's you know what I mean? Like, I'm excited to see what a Ring of Honor Chris Jericho,
and the Danny Garcia stuff.
Yes, because they're clearly they zoomed in on that stuff. So there's that breakup and that blow up is happening at some point too. Pluggo. Chris Jericho, Ring of Honor champion. What you thinking? What
I love it. Like, in terms of just like, I know that I don't love it because I love it. I don't love it, but I love it. You know what I'm saying? The sports entertainer infiltrating the pure wrestling champion. That whole scene. It's pure wrestling. It's supposed to be. But here's the thing about Chris Jericho. If we're talking 30 years ago, he's a perfect Ring of Honor champion.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Lionheart Chris Jericho would have been a quintessential Ring of Honor.
But
champion.
I like the idea of him winning the belt, and the thing with him and Garcia. I have this just feeling of him going, oh, you want to go hang out with the Blackpool Combat Club guys? Well, guess what? I can do all of the things that they can do. Look, clearly I am the champion. So, like, you could stay with me, because obviously that's where you're going. You're going with Daniel Garcia versus Chris Jericho at some point. But here's another feather in his cap to say, hey, you stay with the sports entertainers, you stay with the Yaz.
Yeah.
Good. I was super surprised that they pulled that trigger and did that. I hope that just means they've got some more big plans for Claudio, because I'd hate to see him just fall out of favor, whether it be for whatever reason. You know how it goes. Sometimes these guys lose the title. We don't hear from them for a while, or they don't end up with anything good. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm interested to see where the story goes. And to Matt's point, absolutely, from a business standpoint, if you're trying to strike a deal with ROH and you've got Jericho, you've got FTR, you've got, Moxley as champion, you've got all these big heavy hitters, you can say, hey, these people will be on your weekly television show if you give us a deal. So
yeah,
all around, it's good stuff.
It is. I want to say hi to Throwback in the chat. He said, "What's good, guys? How you doing?" I am well. We are all good. Talking strictly AEW Grand Slam tonight. We got the hard hour, so we got about a little under 20 minutes left. We got some stuff we still need to get to, so we are moving along here. We saw Drew's wearing the shirt. We saw the rematch of the Acclaimed. Trying to challenge for the AEW World Tag Team Champions against Swerve in Our Glory.
Ain't no trying about it.
What is it?
Ain't no trying about it.
Yeah, it wasn't trying.
More like Swerve in a glory hole.
Yeah, that was good stuff. The Acclaim were successful. Huge pop. Huge. Just so over. Good for them. Getting the big title victory in their home area. The crowd was, hype is an understatement. The crowd was booing Swerve in Our Glory mercifully from the time they came out. The Acclaimed, I thought this was a really good match. Swerve in Our Glory, even though they lost, both those guys are special. Both those guys are super special.
Swerve especially. He's leveled up big.
Yeah. Swerve is somebody that you can build that whole company around if you so choose to do so. He is.
I have a feeling we chatted about this when we covered NXT, my friend.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, back in the day when we covered the black and gold, we did. We were saying that Swerve was the man.
But this night was about an eighth ounce of his likeness, like his swagger, and imagine who I would be.
He's got all of it. He's got all of it. None for anybody else.
There was an amazing video floating on the social webs. I know Drew tweeted about it too. Of Keith Lee and Swerve in like a school with a bunch of kids.
Swerve's house.
And it was just cool. It was like just 2 minutes of these kids just having the time of their life. And Swerve and Keith Lee were having the time of their life too. It was just an amazing video. But anyway, this night was about the Acclaimed. They become the new AEW Tag Team Champions. Homegrown tag team, and they were talking about it on commentary, which I liked how they said they were there. And I know, Drew, obviously you being there, you didn't have access to commentary, but when the Acclaimed was coming out and they were talking about them early in the match, Shivani was like, we were there when these guys started their first ever tag match, day one. It was during COVID. It was at Daly's place, and it was just their first. They put them together before a show and said, hey, we think you guys can maybe do something. And they came
crowd, late at night, dark, dingy.
No crowd, no nothing. They just started there, and you fast forward, 2+ years, and they're the most over tag team on the roster, and they had a very special moment winning the tag titles last night.
Just quickly, whose ever idea it was to use the Ass Boys, to turn the Acclaimed face, needs a freaking medal. That was I don't know who thought of that, but it's just sublime. Absolutely sublime writing.
Yeah, it was incredible. Pluggo, you and I've liked the Acclaim for a while. I've loved Anthony Bones for a long time. Like that guy, I love that guy. And Max Caster has won me over. I always liked the raps. Then he did this, whatever happened, he had to learn from it. But he's won me over, and he's good in the ring too. And he's big. He's a big dude. And they work really well together. They are a very, very good team inside and outside the ring. They fit perfectly. They've won me over like they've won everybody else over. I was ecstatic. I was celebrating as much as the people in the arena, like Drew, were celebrating on my couch. Like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I almost at All Out with the reception. If I was Tony at that moment, I almost would have just been like, we're pivoting and we're going to have the Acclaim win this match. But I think them actually losing and it waiting made the moment even bigger. And it was in New York, where they're from. Yep. It was wonderful. Pluggo, talk to me about how you feeling about the
throwback.
Acclaim.
Just, we'll get to that question. It's a decent,
we will.
Good question. We're talking AEW right now, but yeah, for me, like this was a culmination, homegrown, like you said, talent, AEW, beginning. They came in, two guys, nothing to do really, slapping together, and we've kind of watched them evolve, right? At first, it was like, will these guys make it? Will they not? We could see the talent there, but they weren't. We saw the bumps and the bruises and the growing pains, and then there was that unfortunate stuff with Caster, and they had to take a step back, and then Bowens got injured, and it was like they never could get going. They would get a stop and a start, and we finally got to see it all kind of culminate last night, and it was awesome. It was such an amazing moment, and it was the right call. So I think you ride with the hot hand in this tag division, and you lean on these two to. The crowd just eats it up. Everything that they say, everything.
Yeah.
They could be like, they could come up with the most boring ass phrase in the world, and we'd get it over. So I'm all for it. I mean, obviously, I think now we're going to see a Swerve versus Keith Lee match, which I'm all for as well. So I think coming out of even the loss, everybody looks good. There's going to be stuff for Swerve and Lee because they left separate. They didn't leave together. I noticed that little thing. Usually, tag teams takes a loss. They're holding each other out up the ramp. It looked like, Keith was by himself. Swerve was doing it. So we'll see what happens there. I'm super intrigued.
And so Drew being in the building again, you saw a couple really loud, amazing pops last night. What was it like, the atmosphere throughout this whole match? Because the crowd was loud and they were pro Acclaim the whole time. Yeah. Just what was it like being in that atmosphere for this whole match and the title victory for the Acclaimed?
This was one of the more special things I got to witness. It's a true hometown start-up tag team, as we talked about, and I'm glad commentary mentioned it as well. It's like they are probably the first tag team in the company.
Like
they're the first homegrown tag team champions in the company. FTR,
I believe they are. Yeah,
Bucks are from somewhere else.
Well, maybe Luchasaurus.
Does the Bucks not count as homegrown, considering that they started the company?
Say so.
Nah, they've had titles everywhere.
So. No. I truly, and I saw this on Twitter. I tweeted something about this, saying like, hey, I think they're the first homegrown champions, and some people did say, well, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and I was like, all right, maybe, but either way, sure.
But it's
they were put together under Jungle Boy was already kind of established when he was not established, but he was known.
Jurassic Express was known outside of AEW.
Exactly. So like these guys were literally put together before a Dynamite, and we're like, hey, let's see if this can work. You know what I mean? So anyway, continue, Drew. Sorry.
So it was just such a special moment, emotional for me at least.
Yeah.
Because I am also Max. I'm exactly like you, JPJ. Max grew on me, and I've always been an Anthony Bowens guy because I knew of him. I met him very briefly once at an Evolve show when he was doing tickets, not wrestling on the show even, and was such a sweet, kind, every positive adjective in the dictionary person just in the 2-3 minutes that we spoke. And I've been a huge fan of his ever since. Was really sad when he was out of NXT. And when they brought him up and he started wrestling, and I was so excited for this and to be there for the crowning moment of this tag team was so incredibly special. And to be in that crowd was even better. So I'm so happy that I got to witness that live.
Yeah, it was a great moment. And you know what? The way that the camera angle was shot when the first time Caster went for the elbow and he just kind of jumped off and landed and like faked and like grabbed his knee. The way the camera angle was shot, I didn't see, like you couldn't see if Swerve hit him off the rope or if anything happened. You just saw Caster kind of land and then he just grabbed his knee and rolled out of the ring. And I for sure was like, tell me he didn't.
Yeah, there was concern in the crowd about that.
Like, is he really like, I was like, oh my God, tell me that didn't just happen. Like, is it hopefully that is a sell job for, and it ended up being, thank God. But like in that moment, I was like, oh my God, tell me he did not just get hurt during this friggin' match where they're going to win. Like, oh my God, tell me. But man, the drama was good. The pop was good. Everything was good.
You don't want interim tag champions too?
Nah, the Acclaimed are good. Good for them. I'm very happy. All right, we got about a little under 10 minutes. I know the Fatal 4-Way happened. It was a solid match. It was very good. Tony Storm retained, but the moment that people are talking the most about is the Saraya thing that happened afterwards.
Absolutely.
But with the time frame, I'm thinking, I mean, we got to talk about this main event. That was for the AEW.
Before we talk about the main event, can I just say, hey, Tony Khan, if you're listening, I know you're listening.
Oh, God.
Put a damn belt on Orange Cassidy already.
No. That match was incredible.
The dude is
that match was incredible. I could watch
over.
those two wrestle against each other
and
all
he's
day.
Had a million title shots, and they just won't
he's
pull the trigger. Yeah,
he's 0-8. He's had 8 title matches.
God,
0-8.
Tony,
he doesn't need one.
I agree. I agree to an extent that he doesn't, but like it would be nice occasionally. Occasionally, maybe like a fluke.
He doesn't care about anything. Why would he care about it?
It is true. That is true. That's his character,
like
is that he doesn't care,
and he doesn't care about it, but he still won it by you know what I'm saying? Like you could do a lot. With
I would say Danhausen doesn't need a title, but I think Orange Cassidy needs a title at least one time.
I just think it's whether it's the trios ones, which I think Best Friends and him will be trios champions at some point. I think it would be a disservice if they didn't give it to him at some point. I just think occasionally, I'm not saying he needs to be world champion, but like
at this point, I would turn OC
heel.
Yeah.
Oh, you think he could still get away doing that shtick as a heel though?
He doesn't care.
Just people
he doesn't care what people think. Why would he care about anything else?
It is true. It is true.
It's kind of already a heel gimmick if you think about it.
Yeah, I know. And we have Big Bad Boris in the house saying, but think of how great it will be when he does get one with the big fire. Yeah, it's true. It's true. But all right, we had the main event. The main event of the show to crown the AEW World Champion was between Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. This match was fantastic.
The ace of AEW, yes.
Was it?
The ace of AEW,
Jonathan Eugene Moxley.
Yeah. This match was awesome. I loved it. They beat the crap out of each other. It was so good. It was what I wanted.
I didn't know what the excuse me Drew thing was. Now I know what he was.
Yeah. I love this match. I love both these guys. Jon Moxley to me has been the MVP of AEW this year. The MVP without question. Yeah. Guy should be on friggin' vacation. He should be on vacation. And he came back to win this friggin' tournament and become the first ever AEW 3-time world heavyweight champion. Pluggo, I'm going to leave with you.
Having fun on vacation. That's all.
Yeah, he was at the show, bro.
He was at the show. She was in the back. She was tweeting.
She didn't go either.
She was taking photos with Saraya, man.
I can tell you right now.
You want to talk about a team player?
Be on the beaches right now.
Renee's
you want to talk about a team player? Jon Moxley, team player.
And Renee,
because he could have very easily said, "Nope, sorry, not my problem. I'm going on vacation." And he was like, "No,
nope,
I'll do what I have to do.
I'll turn up on
It's
Thursday.
the safe move.
Wednesday,
it was the.
whatever.
I mean, it's the safe move. We had the MJF in the rafters.
Well,
thing.
and I wanted to tie this in.
I will say this. I don't know how I feel about Danielson continuing to take these L's. I thought you could have.
I thought this was the time they were. I thought Danielson was going to win.
That's
I thought they were going to go with him.
It was a brutal match.
I'm not upset either way. Yeah,
it doesn't matter how many times he loses.
And it's true. Danielson does have that stature to an extent.
You know, he's in AEW and he hasn't won
I don't
a
think
major
he
match
trusts.
yet.
I don't think he wants to be world. Like he obviously does, but I don't think he trusts his own body enough to have world title matches like Moxley does.
That's fair. Well, I guess, because we only have a few minutes remaining, like I'll kind of make this like a 2, because obviously the match was excellent. Moxley wins.
Yes.
But MJF was looming over this whole title match, literally and figuratively, as he was kind of in the rafters, a little section up with the chip. There were some people on the interwebs, including myself, that were like, hey, maybe he'll cash in the chip after the match and leave as champion. Like that was starting to make the rounds a little bit of maybe. I thought there was a chance they were going to open the show with the title match, and then MJF would come out and say, I'm cashing in for later on tonight. And then maybe that's how that could have ended. That was going through my brain as a psychopath wrestling fan. But, when do we think MJF maybe does cash that in? Do we think it's soon? Do we think Moxley has a a few month run, or do we think it's going to happen sooner or later? Because that seems to be the clear objective is MJF's the next world champion. He's the next guy. I think MJF was probably supposed to beat CM Punk last night on that Dynamite before CM Punk got hurt and scorched earth. So where do we think, where do we think this is going in just a few minutes before we get out of here? Drew, I'll let you lead, and then we'll finish off with Matt before we get out of here.
It's so up in the air because they're making it seem like he is not going to do it when you think he's going to do it now. Because I thought it was going to happen at that show last night too. And when we saw him, the crowd saw him up there before the camera went up there, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, he's not cashing in. So that made me think Danielson was winning. Which I really wanted. I really wanted that as my favorite wrestler in the world. So I kind of worked myself into a shoot there. But I was thinking Full Gear. But I don't know now. I wonder if maybe, there's the special Tuesday Night Dynamite. There's the Winter is Coming at the end of the year. There's the first Dynamite of 2023.
There's a lot of moments.
You gotta strike while the iron is hot with this. I think. I don't think you need to. I don't want you to play. Obviously, don't make it like next week. But with MJF being as hot as he is right now, and you've got the people, everybody's there. They're tuned in. They're committed. The numbers are good across the board. We got to pull that trigger sooner. I think they'll pull it on a Dynamite.
I think that I'm kind of leaning that way too. Matt, I'll let you finish up before we get out of here. We got about a minute and a half left. What do you think quickly of the main event? Championship edition of Quizplex. Kyle Davis, Sal Rinauro, Marco Mayer. Mayer.
Dope.
In short, good match. Moxley was the correct choice, in my opinion. Again, from a business perspective, you have to go with Moxley because he's carried them through the hard times. As for when MJF cashes in, I don't know. I think it has to be a live show, so it'll be a Dynamite at some point. I think he'll quickly get done with Yuta. He'll beat Yuta, move on to Moxley, beat Moxley, and then maybe have a rematch at Full Gear. Who knows? We'll see.
Remember, too, there's also the golden ticket thing that happens on Rampage.
So that's another world title championship contender, too. All right, Matt, let the people know real quick on Twitter where they can find you, my friend.
I changed it. It's at bearded_Matt86. Lots going on. ICW is coming to Melbourne soon, where they're touring, going to do shows with DMDU, which I'm a part of now. It's going to be a good time. Casey Kirk is coming to Australia.
Very good.
That is big news. So Casey versus Joel Bateman 3 is happening on the Saturday. They are here in the chains. I cannot wait.
Love it. Drew, let the people know where they can find you on Twitter.
On Twitter, you can find me at Big Money Drew. You can find me in Fightful Chats, modding. You can find me on Body Slam's Roundtable Pro Wrestling podcast on Mondays and Fridays. And now, very soon, you'll be finding me right here at Love Wrestling.
Love it. Pluggo, let the people know where they can find us, brother. We got to get out of here.
All right. You can find me at Pluggo _ on all the social media. Search Pluggo. You'll see my beautiful face. At B2 Beer as well on all social medias. We got a lot of cool things coming up, and I know we got to get out of here. But Alex, happy birthday this past weekend.
Happy belated birthday, Alex.
Happy birthday.
We love you. We love everything.
Now get the hell off my screen.
Get out of here. And tell them where you can find your JPJ, because we got Quizplex coming.
All right, Joseph _ Poulin Jr. on the Twitter. JPJ Loves Gaming on Twitch. You know where you can find me on Love Wrestling, Power Hour. Quizplex Championship Edition starting right now after us. Thank you, Drew. Thank you, Matt. Next week, same time, same channel. Peace out.
Peace out.
Look at yourself now, and you're feeling great. I'm only taking 12 steps towards the door. The only thing